I think a lot of sport coaches say like they want their athletes in shape, but I don't think they really understand what they're asking for or really how to achieve it. Um, when it comes to like with your athletes, like, do you see sport coaches when they think like in shape? To them, is that like running them like they're doing gassers in season, they're running in season? Like, tell me a little bit about like what you're seeing and experiencing with your sport coaches that are like, I want my athletes to be in shape.
Yeah, I mean, you see that 9 times out of 10 with this approach that maybe doesn't understand or I mean, a team can get beat because the team is just more skilled than them, and then the coach might view our team is just out of shape, and that's why we lost. But it's just because they got beat to every single ball, and your team's just chasing them, right? They're not as good at the sport, or they're not as fast. And I think sometimes slowness on the field can come up as being deconditioned. We work with a team that has been to state. Um, I mean, I can't even tell you how many years, but they've won it three out of the 4 years in soccer. And one of the things that I've had really good conversations with the conversation with the coach, and he gets it, is that we don't want to peak in August. We want to peak in late October because that's when the state championship is. And so he has an understanding of we need to be fast and powerful events. So we have to get those inputs in. But 9 times out of 10, coaches don't get that. And we're spending so much time on fitness and the score. And we got to get fit. We got to do all these conditioning tests because that's a marker for performance. And I'm speaking more so for soccer, for the team soccer. This could be any sport, but they perceive fitness, quote unquote, as a higher level of performance. And yes, it's the game. But to your point, is their fitness the problem, or is that they can't repeat those high outputs, those high speeds, and it shows up as them perceiving their team as being.
Yeah, and there's so much to unpack there too, where it's like, first things first is like if you understand the volume they're getting just from playing soccer games, and also that most of these athletes are playing club year round, and then they come into high school season, and I'm like, so you're telling me they're not in shape for soccer when they've been playing 2 to 3 soccer games potentially a week, maybe like let's just say on average, like they're playing 5 to 6 soccer games a month during club season minimum, and that's way low balling it. And they're typically getting 4 to 7 miles per game. So you're telling me they're out of shape for soccer, but they've been playing soccer all year. Like, first off, that doesn't make any sense, right? Like they're playing soccer and they're doing fine. And then you want to go in and you want to add more volume. And you're right, they like really push it in the summer, and they come up with like a conditioning test, and they do all these things. And it's like, do you want your athlete? First off, we'll get into that. Like, I think that's all wrong anyway. But is it important that you're in shape for the first game, or is it important that you're healthy and in shape when you get to district play? What's more important for athletes? And I think a lot of times it's so backwards, and they try to come in shape. And I think by the end, you run into burnt out, overuse. You have injuries. You have kids that are just ready to be done. All of this stuff, because you can't maintain like peak performance for 6 months. Like, it's impossible. Like, the human body cannot just manage like, I'm always at my best for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. That's too long. Like, when you've been in the space and you understand, it's like, dude, it can take like 2 or 3 months, and then you're peaking your athlete out for like a week or two, and then it's like, they're gonna have those high efforts, and then it's kind of a rebuild period, right? So I think sometimes they just don't understand that, just how the human body works and how performance works. And then the next part I want to talk about, which you kind of led into, is I've asked coaches, I'm like, okay, so do you want, like, what do you want? Like, you say you want them to be in shape, right? You want them to be able to perform well, at the end of the game. Is performing well to you like being able to jog and not be tired? Or are you trying to tell me that you want your athlete to be able to sprint really fast at the end of the game and make the big play? Like, you know, what do you want? And it's like, it's almost always like, I want my athlete to be able to be fast at the end of the game, right? Which, like you said, is the end of the kind of the elite spectrum, is like repeatability and consistency. So can my athlete, perform high output efforts late into the game? Can they do that? And they have to have a big base of performing those high output efforts, not jogging, not conditioning, stuff like that. So Tell me your thoughts on that. What are some of the things you guys do to hopefully build that up over time?